Alonzio, Hardin.
Do you have any nicknames?
Well, growing up, I have several nicknames. I have a nickname of Baby Al, Little Al, and Zoe, because my name is Alonzio, so it trips them up. So a lot of people call me Zoe. Childhood friends that are adults and family people, have families of their own, they still call me Baby Al. I am from the west side of San Antonio, which I grew up in the Lincoln Courts area. In my young teens, I moved to the southeast side of San Antonio. When I think about things and I see things that are happening today, not only just with youth, but just in life in general, I think one of my greatest successes is not falling victim or prey to outside influences. Because again, I have no mental reservations about sharing that the area that I grew up in at that moment and at that time, and even as a early teenager, I probably seen some things and did some things that I had no business doing, but to just not just believe that is the normal, that was just the way things should be, and this is how I'm going to be, I'm going to do what I see. And so as a personal success, I'm so proud of myself for not giving in. And so after a couple of my friends approached me about joining the police department, I did so. And that was the best thing. That was one of the best things or best choices that I've made, because it allows me to be me. It also allows me to come back into the community that I grew up in and, help to share that message of how important exposure is and how that can help to shape a young person's life that may be in an environment that they seem to think is normal. And so being able to speak about my life experiences and how important it was for me to get out of an area that probably would have led me down a different direction.
Inspiration for becoming a police officer?
My inspiration, some may consider it tragic. Give or take 11 or 12 years old. And I remember my father coming inside the house. He was severely beaten. He was beaten brutally. And of course, at that moment, the house was frantic and everything was going on. And I really didn't find out what happened until the next day, several days later, actually getting the whole full of the story. But my mom and dad, back in this time frame, they both had very good jobs. I shared my mom was at Southwestern Bell. My dad was a machinist for a company called Turbine Support. And so back then they were both doing well off financially, considering the time and whatnot. But anyway, Dad had purchased a 1977 Cutlass Supreme Cadillac. You may not even know what that is. I mean, Cutlass Supreme. It's an Oldsmobile, not a Cadillac. That's what he likes now. But anyway, he bought it off the showroom floor. He's very proud. Paid cash for it. Well, shortly after having it and him coming home, very close to the house, he had a blowout. Well, he was trying to fix the tire. Two officers approached, and basically, short story, they thought that he was trying to steal the car. And so my dad, being very proud, and I'm sure he probably said what he felt at that moment, and it was just a mere fact that they didn't believe him. They thought he was actually trying to steal the car. Words were exchanged, and nevertheless, my dad, he didn't get arrested or anything, but he did get beaten. And so, as far as being part of the change, I knew that I could be the difference, and take my experiences, my personal life experiences, and come back into the community, because it is a strong belief within many people that live not only in the city of San Antonio, but in other cities, and primarily those of color. So being that example and understanding that things like that still to this day do exist or have happened to individuals, but being a part of that change is very important to me. The biggest obstacle is actually wearing this badge, because when I'm in uniform in the community and in the African community, or just in the community in general, I am seen as law enforcement. So an obstacle is trying to not convince, but convey the message that although I'm in uniform and I do have a badge on, I'm still a human being. I'm still a grandfather, I'm a husband, I'm a son, so I'm human. And you don't wear this uniform all the time. And unfortunately, there are people that may feel that because I wear this uniform, I totally think like they would believe all police officers do. And, and it's just not true. It's not true. So the obstacle is just, being able to demonstrate, yes, I am law enforcement, but I'm also human.